Oh yeah, right.
What's up, you fools? Matt and Roy, ESC United, your favorite Eurovision channel. It's a busy day here in the Eurovision world. Ukraine, Kalush Orchestra rehearsed today with Stefania, highly anticipated performance. You've probably seen some of the snippets on TikTok and the pictures on it, but we now finally got to see the whole package. And here in the press center, let's talk about it. Roy, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, they definitely brought a good staging. There were a lot of good elements to this performance. You have, like, for example, just before the chorus starts, you have them swaying back and forth, like you had in the national final. And in the first chorus, it is like shadows of them on the ground moving back and forth. And the second time, you can actually see it in the clip online as well. It is like this pattern that they're wearing in the national final that is like changed from the shadow, and then the rest is black, and it gives a nice visual effect. And then they get into the chorus, and then they dance together, and they have a lot of fun. There were a few issues with the rap part in the first verse, I guess, where they switched from the first rapper to the second one, and the cameraman just couldn't really nail the timing on that or keep up really. In the final run through, they decided to not cut to the second rapper the first time, so they stood on the main singer basically for the entire time, and then they cut once, and that worked quite well, I think. Another thing is you have like a face from, I guess, a mother or something, and in the end, like, she's like crying. You can't really see it too well because of the sun, which sucks a little bit, but it still looks quite nice. It is not necessarily the end of the world basically. And the clapping part, which has another nice moment, you have three of them walking forwards, and like there will be a cross point, and then like the middle line will continue a little bit further, and it will basically make like sort of a peace sign. I think that was a really cool moment. And then they do like the breakdance stuff on hands and on blue circles. And I think I've been talking for a long time already.
That's all right. You have lots of because I know you're passionate about that song. But I will say, actually, probably Ukraine had my favorite opening of the day. The way the song starts, because it has like that sun where you just see the singer and I think the rapper just standing, and you slowly zoom in, and then you see this beautiful sun, and that actually works with the arch because it's all of this black, but then you see all the backdrop. It was beautiful that zoomed in, and then because it's not so beautiful, Stefania, and then the rap kicks in, and then boom, and everything happens, and that was done oh so well. I was mighty impressed with that. There was never like a dull moment in the performance at all. One of my concerns was because the only criticism I had about the song was, I think the last 45 seconds they could have maybe switched up the song a little bit with the flute part and bring in something else, and they didn't. So in the studio version, I'm like, something should be more, but they did it in a way in the staging where I was not bored at all. Like when the guy was dancing in like a blue circle, and then you saw the guy with the flute and other stuff. So it was highly enjoyable to me, and it switched it up that way, and that made it a lot of fun. And it ended beautifully in the Ukrainian colors, blue and yellow, and even they use the backdrop, and you can see someone, the hands holding you, and it's just, there's a lot of symbolism there that is not off-putting or too political, if you will, but it still brings somewhat of a message across that is appropriate and we all understand. So it touched me a lot. It's not even a song that you would think you would cry over, but knowing the circumstances, you kind of do get emotional, and that's what I got. But I think they did a fantastic job themselves, and as Roy pointed out, and that's just the theme of the day. Oh, you could almost say theme every year, because that's what rehearsals are there for. Camera work. Not every camera has to be perfect, even like not everyone has a trained eye on how cameras are issues, but there's sometimes issues where you see like random shots, and so they have a lot of audience shots, right? Because the audience will probably be very engaged and interactive with that. Some of them were a little funky, but I think that can be fixed as well. But overall, I think it's going to be high energy, high emotions, and just high fun. It brings a lot of good things with it. So I felt fantastic about this rehearsal, one of the better ones of the day. Roy, anything, if you had the power, king of Eurovision, what would you change?
I mean, I wouldn't change anything. I would just make sure that the camera angles work the way that they need to work, and that all the switches happen at the right times. And like you said, with the audience shot, make sure that it looks good when there is an audience, I guess, which is a bit tough to rehearse, I guess, as well. But yeah, overall, I think the biggest chunk and the biggest gist of the staging is pretty much spot on, and I don't think there needs to be a lot that needs to be changed in those bits. It's just a few bits of camera work here and there that could really need some fine tuning.
That's how I feel as well. So nothing else to add. It's all about the camera work here as well. Nothing that the Kalush Orchestra can really fix. Keep the energy up, keep the excitement there. It was wonderfully executed. Now tell the camera people, figure it out. Figure it out. And I'm sure they will, because they got plenty of homework tonight. So watch that clip on YouTube if you don't mind, and then leave your thoughts below. What was your first impression of that whole thing? We would love to hear from you. Thank you, and see you in the next video.